welcome back. Today we are gonna recreate Black Swan Sriya's makeup look. I'm gonna use these two photos as my reference. Today we are gonna talk a lot about techniques than products. So let's get started, and as usual I'm gonna start with a clean but moisturized face. Let's talk about smile line pigmentation. Gone are the days where you straight up stack layers of the most vibrant neon orange concealer on the mouth area. I would do that, and my mouth area alone seems to have a thicker skin compared to my rest of my face because of all the piled up layers of makeup. We do not want that, so if you are around my skin tone, a couple of shades lighter, a couple of shades darker, use a color corrector that kind of looks like your concealer shade but with an orange tint. So hindsight, your color corrector shade will look like a concealer with an orange undertone. When you are applying your color corrector, either use your finger or a small brush because you want that control over where you place your concealer and how much product you apply on that area. Now this is a concealer brush that I got from YesStyle. YesStyle is an Asian e-commerce website. This is actually a very mediocre brush in terms of quality. It's nowhere near PAC or even Cuffs and Lashes. Ladies and gentlemen, I've never seen a concealer brush design like this. The brush comes with the perfect angle to really get into the crevices, the crooks, the corners of your face. It's not even a straight angle. The slanted angle is curved, so you get a lot of say in where exactly you place the product. You can literally use your fingers. Now either way, you want to stack the color corrector on the places where the pigmentation is visible. I'm talking about lines, spots and scars that look very prominent on your skin. So usually what I would do is I place the concealer or color corrector directly on the area where you can spot a discoloration within seconds. Like my inner corners, my smile lines, they look very prominent. I'm talking about discoloration where you once correct it, you can literally go on about your day just like that. Place your color corrector directly on these places, tap, tap, tap and blend the edges. Now for the surrounding skin around that pigmented area, you just want to take your brush and gloss over the product, almost like you're painting a light layer of watercolor on a clean paper. You can see a faint hue of color, but you still don't know what exactly the color is. So once you're done with your color correction, this is how your base should look if you have my skin tone. When you use a normal setting spray in between your makeup, it looks very dewy. Every oily skin girl's biggest nightmare. You will set your face with powder at the end anyway, so please don't worry about your base getting oily. If you have zero time to spend on your base, I have the best technique for you, bestie, okay? I don't know what this technique is called, but I bet you have seen this somewhere. This technique has been there for ages. It's one of those recycled, reused techniques that really withstood the test of time. First, I'm gonna start applying the products that take a long time to dry up on the skin. Use a descending order, that is, start with products that take a while to settle on the skin. So when you blend the mattifying products, the hydrating products are still nice and creamy. I'm gonna start with my contour. I have this contour stick from Blue Heaven. The contour stick does not settle quickly, so we can take a sweet time to blend. Next we have the concealer. This again from Inside palette takes a while to dry up on the skin. I'm only placing the concealer on the inner corners, taking it to the absolute brim of my lash line as usual. It's a K-beauty look, so we want everything to be covered, and a little bit around my mouth as well. Now I'm mixing these two foundations from Blue Heaven and placing them mainly on the center parts of my face. These two foundations settle quickly on the skin. They also give a very matte finish. So I'll be blending out the foundation part first and then the rest. You definitely don't need to have the clearest, perfect looking skin to use this technique. Actually, it's the opposite. This technique is best for people who already have acne scars, acne marks, active acne spots here and there. Since we are blending everything at once, this will give the quickest base to spot conceal. I used the setting spray in between to rehydrate my skin because I I used matte foundations and I have dry skin. You can skip setting spray in between and blend just like that. If you have cream blush, you can also use it here. While editing this, I saw that it took 3 or like 4 minutes to blend everything out, so usually I cut the footage in between, but today I want to show you the entire footage and how everything blends out. You don't even need to switch brushes in between. I used my sponge for the majority of the time. I switched to brush only when I was blending the nose contour. Even nose contour, you can definitely use, the sponge, but I have the weakest hands. I have shaky hands, so I prefer brushes when I want to focus on little details. I don't know why, but when I use a brush to focus on details, my hands don't shake that much. My speculation is that maybe my brain automatically thinks that I'm using a pen or a pencil. Coming back, for spot concealing, I'm gonna take a shade that is an exact true match to my skin tone. I made an in-depth video on how I spot conceal. You can check that out. I don't have active acne, and even if I do, I rarely cover it with makeup. I think it's more of a personal preference. I mostly have sunspots, old acne marks, and some pigmentation that wasn't fully covered during the color correcting stage. Used a small eyeliner brush like this. Dude, I have used lip liner brush, eyeliner brush, eyeshadow brushes, and even nail art brushes. Anything that is small and flat will do the job. When you are spot correcting with a flat brush, always tap the product. The brush should be parallel to the skin, and do not use the tip of the brush to lay the product. Strangely, from personal experience, especially with this type of brush, whenever I use the tip to spot correct, it always picks up product instead of laying it on my skin. So I never use the tip of the brush to blend the product. These are some of the techniques I swear by. Let's talk about one technique that did not work for me. I decided to use a lighter concealer shade from the Inside palette and highlighted the center of my face as usual. I have always heard about how if you wanna conceal or elevate a feature, you use a lighter concealer shade. So I thought I would try it around my mouth area. So do you see this frown line? I wanna kind of conceal and lift that area up. That was a fail. It didn't lift my frown line. It made my face look chubby. My face looked like I gained some weight. I really thought I would, outsmart everyone. Nope. Dummy here. All the work I put into contouring my jawline only for this technique to ruin my chiseled jawline, okay? I already have chubby face. But this technique works though. It just made me realize that you're better off highlighting only your key features like nose, chin, and forehead than areas like these that don't need highlighting. I'm setting a beautiful base with a finely milled powder that is an exact match to my skin. This is from Nykaa in the shade 07 Honey. Not to kiss my own ass, but I really give this base a 10 on 10. From where we started to this, I appreciate all these techniques. I'm using two types of brushes here. The first one is my absolute favorite brush from Cuffs and Lashes. They really nailed the quality of these brushes. I'm tapping the product to the skin. More than tapping, I'm directly placing the powder onto the skin. You also get an extra layer of coverage when you do this. I mean, if you want extra layer of coverage, then do this. The second type of brush is a regular eyeshadow brush from BH Cosmetics. I use this to set my under eye wrinkles. I have like 3 or 4 fine lines under my eyes. Okay, let's come back to our makeup look. Sriya seems to have thicker, prominent, dark eyebrows. I'm using the Blue Heaven eyebrow gel to coat my eyebrows with the ashy gray pigment. With brow mascaras, it only takes less than a minute to create fuller brows. Seeing those two photos, I can't exactly tell what she has on her eyes, but it seems pretty simple to me. I sense a mauve light brown on the crease with inner corners and the 𝘗𝘗𝘏𝘏 highlighted using white shadow. I'm gonna do something similar but not exactly. I'm using this eyeshadow palette from Nicka, literally one of the most oldest eyeshadow palettes I own, and also one of the best palettes I own too. The shimmers in this palettes are identical, if not better than the Huda Beauty Nude Obsessions palette. I was just messing around with the colors and I accidentally created an icon. Isn't this color so iconic? Literally reminds me of K Beauty, a soft muted mauve color. I don't know how I created this. I just mixed these two shades and created an in-between color, and then I landed on this. I ended up loving this shade. I applied it all over my lids. My eyes look like they're blushing, and also it looked like a natural pigmentation on my eyelids. One technique that I always stick by is to build up a color to reach the extreme ends. Extreme end, like what is that supposed to mean? I'm talking about true white and pitch black. We always say that you should never go directly with a black eyeshadow. We always start by building that value from beige to light brown to dark brown and then black. I do the same with white too. Either start with beige, or in this case I mixed the white and beige to create an in-between color, since highlighting the inner corners with pure white eyeshadow is just too much for my personality to handle. It would not look good on my skin tone. I just don't have the attitude to carry it out. I took some time to build that color on the inner corner and that fatty under eye bag, or 𝘗𝘗𝘏𝘏 as they like to call it. This eye look, even though is painfully basic, complemented my skin tone. You will see that this makeup really suited me. You know, I think it's because Sriya and I have very similar skin tones. I loved the gradient from light beige on the inner corners to the muted mauve eyelids. Do you have droopy eyes or lazy eyes? I have the perfect hack for you. With a jet black kajal, I'm gonna start lining my eyes, starting from the center of my iris to the end of my eyes. And when you reach the end, flick the liner towards your temple. So basically just a lifted kitten eyeliner. I literally get goosebumps when I do it. Now that I have lined my eyes, do you see that difference? This is what happens when I close my eyes. The liner gives my eyes a lifted, sultry, sexy look. Do you see that lift? And when I open my eyes appear bigger and doll-like. You get two different eye looks at the same time. With the leftover kajal on my brush, I'm gonna use this nutty brown shade and line the inner part of my eyes. I'm gonna connect the brown eyeliner to the black, so you get this very cute brown to black gradient. Very sexy, very sultry, and a very mature look. Sexy mature look. I'm applying a good coat of mascara to elevate what we already did. If you thought the brown to black was a little harsh, applying mascara basically just binds everything together. I hope you can see it. All these eyeliner hacks, I actually learned it from a very well-known famous K-beauty makeup artist, 𝘗𝘳𝘰𝘥𝘶. But I had to tweak the technique to suit my eye shape, and this is what I did. The original technique is something else, or at least completely opposite of what I just did, but it gave me the inspiration to tweak and play with my eye shape, and it worked. I first saw her technique like exactly a year back. I played with color, especially chocolate brown and black eyeliner. If you ever wondered why I always prefer dark brown eyeliner and why I always layer my eyeliner, it's because of her technique. Even though it's completely opposite of the original hack, we somehow landed here. Now, if you are a blush lover and you don't own this blush, I'm gonna bully you. I try my best to not hype up these products, but bro, I've never heard of a long-lasting blush. Like, I've always thought a long-lasting blush just doesn't exist. This is why people even layer powder blushes on top of cream blushes, because blush just disappears. This blush from Peripera is truly the best powder blush I own, literally coming from a blush hater's mouth. Y'all know I'm pretty picky with my blush. This blush from Peripera in the shade 05 Dusky Rose is a cool toned light mauve color, and I'm applying it on my cheeks, a little bit under the eyes, and also connecting the color to my eyes. My horrible lighting did not do any justice to this blush. It looks like nothing on my skin. I hope you can see something on the right side of my face. I feel like this is one of the most long-lasting blushes I own. Story time. This day I wore it and I didn't check myself in the mirror at all. I was busy and I had my dinner and I went to brush my teeth after eating. I looked at my face after hours and I was shocked to see the blush just sitting there like an insect on my cheeks. Okay, kind of was shocked. Do you have this blush? Did you experience something similar, or do you think my blush stayed intact because of the mask setting spray? What do you think it is? Tell me in the comment section down below. Sriya seems to like nude colors like MLBB colors, nudes, mauves, muted pinks, and sometimes reds. I'm gonna use my favorite lip liner from Nykaa. It's a very light mauvey nude shade. On the lips, this color looks nude, but when you swatch it, it appears mauvey pink, I would say. I always blend the edges of my lips to feather the color. It looks soft. It looks elegant. This is another, lipstick technique that I love. You want your lipstick to have a powdery matte finish. What I did was I took the blush and I used a regular eyeshadow brush and feathered the blush across my lips. This gave me a soft, matte, powdery lipstick finish. And with that, we are done. I hope you enjoyed these age-old techniques that, really have seen the test of time. I loved this look. It suited my skin tone. And yeah, I hope you try these techniques out. I really want to know if these hacks works or not. Give me a like and a subscribe if you want to see me more. I'll see you next week. Bye, guys.